For 25 minutes, Norway believed they could finish above France. Not because they were dominating, not because France looked weak, but because they had done everything right in the first two group matches. They had beaten Iraq. They had survived Senegal. Erling Haaland had become one of the stars of the tournament. Group I suddenly looked like Norway's opportunity to shock the football world. Then France reminded everyone why they're one of the favorites to lift the World Cup. Not with Kylian Mbappé, not with Didier Deschamps on the touchline, but with one of the most devastating individual performances the tournament has ever seen. When the final whistle sounded, France had dismantled Norway 4-1, secured first place in Group I, and sent a terrifying message to every team left in the competition. The build-up focused on two names, Kylian Mbappé, Erling Haaland. Every headline promoted it as the battle between football's two greatest goal scorers, but football has a habit of creating new heroes. Before the match had even settled, Mbappé nearly produced one of the fastest goals in World Cup history. Just seconds after kickoff, he raced through the Norwegian defense and smashed an effort against the crossbar. The stadium exploded. Norway survived, barely. That single moment was the first warning. France hadn't arrived to play cautiously. They had arrived to make a statement. Norway weren't intimidated. Despite rotating much of their starting 11 and leaving stars like Erling Haaland and Martin Odegaard on the bench to protect them for the knockout stage, they remained disciplined. They defended deep. They closed passing lanes. They frustrated France. For 20 minutes their plan was working. Then one player completely destroyed it, Ousmane Dembélé. One run, one finish. France led. Before Norway had time to recover, Dembélé struck again. This time the move was even quicker. Mbappé slipped the perfect pass into space. Dembélé didn't hesitate. 2 goals. The Norwegian players looked stunned. The crowd hadn't even finished celebrating when France launched another attack. Again it was Dembélé. Again he found space. Again he found the net. In just 32 minutes, he completed one of the fastest hat-tricks in FIFA World Cup history. The match that was supposed to belong to Mbappé and Haaland now belonged entirely to Dembélé. But here's what made the performance even more remarkable. France weren't simply scoring. They were suffocating Norway. Every time Norway tried to build from the back, French players were already waiting. Every loose ball belonged to France. Every second ball became another attack. It wasn't just talent, it was relentless pressure. Still, Norway refused to disappear. Just before halftime, Thilo Osgaard found a way through the French defense and gave Norway a lifeline. At 3-1, there was still hope. One more goal before the hour mark and suddenly France would start feeling pressure. That never happened. Instead, the second half became a masterclass in game management. France slowed the tempo whenever they needed, accelerated when opportunities appeared, and completely controlled the rhythm. Norway were handed a golden opportunity to make it 3-2 when they won a penalty. The entire stadium held its breath. Score that. And the momentum changes, miss it. And France remain in complete control. Georgian Strand Larsen stepped forward. Mike Mainin guessed correctly. The save was magnificent. That wasn't just a penalty save. It was the moment Norway's comeback disappeared. France smelled blood again. The midfield regained complete control. Mbappé continued creating chances even without finding the scoresheet. The Norwegian goalkeeper produced several outstanding saves to stop the scoreline becoming embarrassing. But eventually, even he couldn't stop the fourth. Deep into stoppage time, Desiree Doué rose highest inside the penalty area and powered home a header. 4-1 game over, statement delivered. The biggest lesson from this match wasn't the score. It was the depth of this French squad. Everyone expected Mbappé. Everyone feared Mbappé. Instead, Dembélé stole the spotlight. When opponents focus too much on one superstar, France simply unleash another. That's what makes them so dangerous. For Norway, there is disappointment, but there is also perspective. Despite the heavy defeat, They had already done enough in earlier matches to qualify for the knockout stage. Sometimes tournament football isn't about winning every game. It's about surviving long enough to fight another day. For France, however, this victory felt much bigger than 3 points. Their head coach, Didier Deschamps, was absent after returning home following the death of his mother, and the players dedicated the performance to him. Assistant coach Guy Staphin guided the team from the touchline, but the emotion behind the victory was clear from the opening whistle. So while the world expected Mbappé versus Haaland, football gave us Dembélé versus history. 3 goals, 32 unforgettable minutes, a 4-1 victory, and a warning to every nation still dreaming of becoming world champions. Because if France can play like this without needing Mbappé to score, the rest of the tournament has every reason to be worried.